Hello, legends and super legends. Welcome to Veloharmony. We're getting ready this morning. Paul's getting his tires aired up. We'll mostly do that at home, but this morning we're doing something special. Today is Friday. We're going to do our ride today because Paul has other plans for the weekend, and so we decided to go ahead and get our ride in. So we got out here early. It's going to be a hot day. It's probably 25 C. It's like 75 degrees Fahrenheit, thereabouts. That's our days this time of year until late October. It will start 21 to 24 C, thereabouts. So anywhere from 70 to 74 or 75. That's where we start. So we're going to go to a place called Huntsville, Texas. They have the state prison there. It's probably the first prison we had in the state. This is one of our major prisons. I don't know if we'll actually get to the prison, but we'll ride past the prison museum and into the town called Huntsville. And we've got some new roads to explore.
They also have Sam Houston State University there. So it's a small town, but it's thriving. So this guy had been riding around the parking lot.
All right, legends, we're rolling. Let's do this, my brother. Let's go.
Okay. So Paul mentions we need to wait for this dude, So I decided to just talk to him. He's down there.
I need to talk to him and let him go to the channel. Because it looks like he needs. You want to come over here? How you doing this morning? I have a channel called Veloharmony. V-E-L-O. Dale? Dale. That's Paul. I'm Eldred. The channel called Velo, V-E-L-O, Harmony. I'll put you on film. We're making a movie for it. Everything you want to know about cycling, how to improve, how to lose weight, all of that, playlists are there. I got more than 300 something videos. Velo. Velo is the word for bicycle in French. Oh, okay. V-E-L-O, Harmony, all together. Go to YouTube, search on it. Go there. Everything you need to know about cycling, because there's a lot of stuff as to how to ride, to lose weight, to get fit. All of that's out there.
I'll put this thing in the weakest gear. I'll leave it there.
Well,
it got me a seat because I couldn't handle a hot dog bun.
Well, don't keep it in one gear. Change it as you need to, because sometimes if you're just spinning too much, your foot can slip. Well, no, that's good, but your foot can slip off those pedals because you're not clipped in. So you got to be careful. It will hit your shin.
I'm on the Walmart level right now.
Well, that's fine. You got to start somewhere. But what the channel will teach you.
I nicknamed it Table Scraps because
it doesn't matter what bike you're on. It doesn't matter what bike you're on. What matters is the consistency.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every day.
So
everyone try to be out here.
So you live in the area?
I'm right up here in town.
Just ride from town here. Why come here in your truck? You're scared to use the road.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be. You're just like a vehicle. You see all the people riding. We're going out to Huntsville today. That's where we're headed.
You're heading out?
Yeah, we're heading to Huntsville. Yeah, we can go out. Yeah, we ride about 4 hours, thereabouts. Yeah. So you build up to it. But yeah, you don't need to come right around the circle.
Riding out there on these, how long does it take y'all to get out there?
Probably about 2 hours we'll be in Huntsville. Well, we're going through the National Forest, 149, and we're going to take
1791.
I'm going to take 1791 directly into Huntsville. We're going to turn off one of those streets and go up to 30, then take another road, go up to 75 and come down 75 and Huntsville. We're going to take those roads that go north from 1791, hits 30, get on 30 for a little bit, then take another road that goes north to 75, then take 75 into Huntsville, because there's a lot of climbs on those two roads. Yeah. We want those climbs.
I found a little bit of a climate right here. Just
right here, that's right there. So don't ride around here in this parking lot.
Once and it
I'm trying to get him
go
to
around
use
here
the
and then go
park.
up that thing.
And then I'll start going.
No, you can do that now. You're already in a baby gear, so stay in that gear. And in the back, look, in the back, just shift up, and then go up that thing. You're not in your. When you go this way, that's easier in the back. Where you are, you see right now, you can bring it.
He's not familiar with how to shift. He's a novice. And
the one's closer to the bike, and you will be able to climb that thing. And then every time you do that thing, shift harder the next time. That's how your body gets stronger.
So you're putting the weight, you're putting the actual stress on yourself trying to get up.
Exactly. So what happens is it doesn't really matter. What I'm trying to show you, like he's showing you, is the chain in the middle there.
Right.
Bring the chain closer to the bike. It makes it easier for you to go up a climb.
Right.
Now, eventually, it will get too easy when your body gets stronger.
Right.
So you're going to have to bring it back down and say, hey, I'm stronger now.
Right.
Use your gears. That's why they're there.
Okay.
Don't just spin around here. Ride this whole park. Look, ride this loop. Do this. You here? Go right. That's a climb. Go left. Go to the entrance and come back. Then the next time, go that way. That's where we're going. That's a climb.
Yeah, that's dope.
So if you're going to be here, you might as well do the whole thing. There's no reason to wait. You can just shift those and make it easier. Do it today.
And it looks like you need to put more air on your tires.
Your tires look kind of soft.
I got when I hit the 240 mark on the scale, I said that's it. I got to get my.
Well, the thing is, yeah, you need to, well, the problem with this country, everybody sits in a car, sit behind a desk, sit at home. So you got to get out.
He said he got the 240
Because if you don't
pounds.
do that, that will literally kill
And
you.
realize
Sitting
he needs
around
to
doing
lose
nothing would kill you. It's on their nutrition. As far just, you don't need to eat anything special other than increasing vegetables and non-processed foods.
Yeah, eat on the outside ring.
You know, don't eat a big steak. Eat mostly vegetables and a smaller steak, or whatever you're into, but mix it up.
Right.
You don't need to do anything special because by exercising regularly, your body will burn the calories. Just do it regularly. If it's 3 days a week, then your body will believe you.
Foggy, I couldn't even see the top of that antenna right there the other day, and I was just breathing. It felt like I was breathing pure water.
Well, if you're here, do the whole park. Shift those gears.
I'm trying to get him to not get bored riding just this parking lot. This park is big.
Use your gears. Don't just ride one gear the whole time you're here. Shift them.
And he's
See what
talking
they
about
feel
all
like.
kinds of other stuff. So I humor him for a
In
bit.
fact, I can get like 3 laps here, and man, my whole heart's already starting to pound.
He's
Well,
talking about
if the heart's pounding, that means you're spinning too much. Shift to a harder gear
Allergies.
that way and slow your legs down and use the strength of your legs. All of that burns calories. What's important is how long you're out here and how consistent you are. So start. Yeah, we have videos out there. So, but while you're here, don't spin around. You get bored. Ride the park. Do that route.
He was just
do
doing this
one,
parking lot
and
right
play with the
here.
gears. If it's too hard in that
And the
one, go
park
back
is
up
big.
in the back. That's how you learn how to use your gear.
And so, yeah, he pulls the age card. That was it for me.
Oh, please. We got people 75 years old climbing mountains. Come on, man.
He said I'm 55 years old. I'm like, whatever, you know.
We got 75-year-old climbing mountains,
So
man.
we
Come
start
on.
the
You
roll.
can do it. You're a young kid.
So Paul and I start the roll.
All right.
Because we're trying to get going here.
Let's get out of here. Come on, buddy.
And then Paul forgets his glove. Paul, remember, he forgot his gloves.
Yeah, I don't have time for that. You saw I just rolled off. I ain't
Making
got time for
excuses
that.
about age.
75.
Until
You're
you're
alive.
dead,
You're not dead.
age means nothing.
Who cares? What are you? 55 years old. That's supposed to be
Oh
white.
man, dude, I left my gloves.
Okay.
So Paul says he left
Let's
his
go get
glove.
it. Let's turn around.
So we turn around, decide to use the opportunity while he's going to get his glove to show that guy how to climb.
That's in the bag. This happens.
You can see this park is extensive. He's just riding the parking lot where the cars are. I mean, you're going to drive out here to do that. It's okay to be afraid of riding on the road when you're new. That's something you're going to have to get used to over time. So I wasn't surprised when he said that.
Go get that
Most
guy to
people
come up
are.
this hill. Go get your glove. I'll bring him up here.
So I decide to bring him up on the climb. And you're just going to hear me
Okay,
walking
turn
through.
right. Right turn. Right turn. I'll show you how to ride this hill.
I'm telling
Come
him
on.
to turn. So he
Come on.
stops.
Uh-huh.
So I turn
Okay.
again. He's already in the baby gear, like we told him. So that was good to
That's
see.
fine. Come on. The hill will make it hard. Come on.
So he
you
said-
did it too early.
he said
you
the-
need to wait till you get to the hill.
Yeah, he said the gear
Come on.
was too easy. I said,
You
you're
did
sitting
it
on
on
the parking
over
lot.
there. It's easy. It's weak because you're on a flat road. Keep it there and come here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. All right.
So this loop is like a 2 to 3% climb or more.
Okay, shift away from the bike right now. Go ahead. Shift away from the bike. The other way. Okay, good. It's getting harder, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay, you need more air in those tires. Don't ever ride them that low. You more chances of having a flat.
Yeah, he's bouncing
Shift some
on
more
the bike
the other
'cause
way.
the tires
Yeah, I
are
can see you bouncing
mushy.
because you need air in those tires. There you go. There you go. Now, let's go up this hill.
And I also got a positive and negative friction thing on this side.
Don't worry about all that crap, man. Just ride your bike. They put all kinds of nonsense on that. Doesn't mean anything. Just ride the bike. You don't want riding. That doesn't mean anything.
He's got some shifter that says positive and negative. I thought, don't pay attention to that. Just shift. Make the bike.
As you come to this hill, it will get harder. Because now the grade is kicking in. You feel it?
Yes.
If it gets too hard, then you gotta start going towards the bike in the back. That's what I was talking about.
All I want him to know is how
There
to
you go.
shift.
Now stay in that gear. Look where you're going.
He was looking down at the wheel.
Don't shift too much. Just stay there and try to finish the hill now.
About here, it's like
making too much
3%.
noise. When you shift, make sure you're not putting too much pressure on the chain when you shift. Gotta lighten up. Yeah, it makes too much. Come on. There you go. Now you see your breathing changing. Don't shift too much. Just finish it in the same gear. If you have to stand, you stand. That's why we clip in. But we can stand. That's what I want you to do when you're here. You're gonna come here, ride this.
Use the whole park. What's the point of coming and just riding
You see
in
the difference?
one circle?
So why come out here and just ride around over there? That's flat. Ride this loop. You can even go up there. That's a climb. Yeah. That's where the calories are going. You see that oxygen you're sucking in, burning calories. Yeah. You look at the recommended PSI for your tire. It's on the side. Don't put it at maximum. Look for recommended. And you set your tires there every 3 days. Check it and put it there. We have our own pump that we use for that. It's important because then the ride will be smoother and the tire will last longer. You see your breathing has changed. You're still breathing hard. You're still burning calories. And you just went up that little climb. We're gonna be doing that, harder than that for 4 hours. So now you can go that way or you can go back down. Let's go back down this way. Now it's gonna get easier, so you're gonna be shifting the other way.
Back to the hard side.
There you go, because you're going downhill now. It's easy. You're getting the hang of it, but when you're going up the hill, try to shift early. So it's easy early, so you're not shifting on the hill. And when you shift on the hill, don't put too much pressure until it gets in gear. Or then it go crack, crack. Stay on this side of the road. We'll see you later, okay? Enjoy the park, man. Don't ride around down there. Ride the whole park. Ride the whole park.
On this ride, we're visiting Huntsville, Texas, where we have the state prison, as I mentioned earlier. And we also have Sam Houston State University there. The route was very challenging. There are a lot of climbs on the route, but we covered roads that are just so lightly traveled. We might have had 2 or 3 cars every 30 minutes, if that. We went to the area where you see called Smith Hill. That's Huntsville there. There's a hill there that we rode when we're in the city. This is on the way back out of Huntsville. We came down 1791. An area called San Jacinto. Lots of good climbing on the way back. We took some really good clips for you. Here once we got back to Montgomery, for some reason, I guess I neglected to turn off right there. I didn't turn off the unit. And that part of the route you're looking at right now, we're in the car. That's why it's 107 kilometers an hour. And so it basically messed up. It picked up a lot of KOMs. And so after the ride automatically loads to Strava. And once I discovered that, somebody had even commented that it looks like you kept it on in the car. So I went ahead and pulled the route from the public domain so it would not mess up Strava KOMs.
All right, let's do this.
So after helping that guy, we're heading out of the park here. This is the climb I told him to ride. This is about 3.5–4%.
I was showing him how to shift because he was telling me it was too easy. I said, you on a flat road down there going all the way easy. Yeah, it's gonna be easy.
He's got a lot to learn. He needs a fit.
We're just helping a guy there learn how to use his bike. There's so many people like that don't know. The good thing is, he's headed in the right direction. He just needs a little guidance. he has a lot of positives going for him because he realizes I got to do something.
Yeah.
A lot of people are in that situation but don't do anything about it. At least he's taking action.
At least he's out there. That's why I gave him kudos for. He's out there trying.
So you see the gimbal?
Yeah.
It may look like it's tilted funny, but it's correct.
It's correct.
It's correct. It's in the position it needs to be for this angle to keep the shot framed. It's not off. If I turn it like this, you see?
Yeah.
So it does whatever it needs to do, depending on what you do with the body.
Right.
So when I put it here, look at my finger. It's on my finger. See that?
Yeah. There's a support.
So then that rattling minimized. Okay? Because I did my finger like this and I put it here to do the side. So on the front, what I tried to do is I try to get something like this. Let me slow down. Between here. You see here?
Yeah.
This finger is touching my hoods, not the body of the gimbal. Look at the gap.
Yeah. I see it.
Yeah, that's what eliminates it. I've been playing around with it. That's what we got to do on those rough roads and kind of put something you can.
Not to have a contact with the
Yeah, with the hood. That's what you don't want to rub your bike anyway, you know.
Remember we had a class of
Yes. Come on.
So throughout this ride, we're figuring different ways to set the gimbal. To eliminate
It's right there. You can still see the glass.
There's glass on the side of the road. But we've continued to improve how we handle the gimbal. We're learning more about it because the documentation is incomplete. We're figuring stuff out and we're benefiting from it. You can see how quiet it is. And on this ride, we didn't get the rattles as much. So we found different ways to hold the
Let's
gimbal.
get over it. Yeah.
So what I was saying was that guy needed a fit, but you don't want to bombard a new rider with too many things at once. He's got a lot of things to figure out. He's changed that saddle that came with the bike. He called it a noodle, but he actually went the wrong way. The saddle he has is too big. So, you know, he's just not ready for everything that he needs. Right now, he just needs to be out there riding. If he rides more, he will be even more uncomfortable on that big saddle.
All right, legends. We're rolling.
So right here, I turn on the head unit. This is 30 minutes into the ride, even though it says 0 duration.
Decided to
I decided to turn it on later
take some new roads today. Headed towards Huntsville, Texas.
because we're messing around with that guy in the park.
There should be a road coming up.
So I found another road on the map called Grissom Trail.
Violence will start from here.
Okay.
I'm telling Paul that the head unit is starting from here because we just turned it on. I don't mind really helping people out, trying to get them pointed in the right direction. The reason I decided to take the time to help that guy is he was out there. He's motivated. Something got him out of bed. He put the bike on his truck. He drove there. Even though he didn't really know what he was doing, he was out there. And I felt like, man, I'll give him a little something to get him pointed. So if he's really serious and he invests the time and come to the channel, that should help him get further along. And that's all it is a carrot to get him out there. Since he shows the interest, why not? We are our brother's keeper. And that's the reason why I took the time and used that opportunity. So something made Paul forget his gloves. So I'll use that opportunity to take him up that hill and give him a few pointers, get him going. Because he's riding the wrong saddle. His saddle's kind of low, but it wasn't the time to give him all of that. It would have been too much. So if he's really serious and he comes to the channel, then he can contact me and we can continue to help him. You know, that's the whole thing. If you're helping yourself, people will help you. But if you're not doing anything or you don't show any interest, they don't even know if it's something you want to do. You know, I'm sure you all know it. Sometimes I'll be talking to my wife about something and it's almost like she can't wait to leave because she's not interested, or whoever it is. If somebody shows interest, then I continue. Otherwise, I let them be. So that's the reason I took the time. I don't do that very frequently, but he was out there, and we were getting ready and saw him riding around a circle down there. Like that just looked so dark. And the fact that he just didn't know. I mean, he lives in the area. These are his roads. He's paying for these roads, but he's not comfortable using it. A lot of people are on nerve. When cars go by, they're loud, they're noisy, and some of those jerks even rev their engines as they go by. That scares people. So you have to be comfortable enough to come out here.
Listen.
You know.
I said I was just repeating the name of the road.
This is Grissom Trail. It's kind of a loop. It's a bypass of the next intersection, but it's a more scenic way to get there. And it's a heavily traveled route by cyclists. I saw on the map. It was in the direction.
Start the course and asks you, should I go to the beginning?
Yeah.
I always tell it no, because if we're not at the beginning, it will keep telling me to do a U-turn.
Right.
So now we just pick up from wherever we are.
We're talking about the course software on my head.
Look at this road, my brother.
Yep. A beauty.
Your road.
I love these kind of roads. Are quiet, and these are the kind of roads that guy at the park would benefit from. That's why we offer bike tours for people like him. Take them out, show them how to use the road, get them comfortable being on the road. You know, so it's one of the services we offer. He's not really ready for that at this point. I mean, he could use it, but it was just not the time to inundate him all. So I told him about the channel. He can start there and then go to the website and take advantage of some of those things. So there's a time for everything. If he follows through, then I can let him know at the appropriate time. So
Looks almost like that house that dog chases us on that road.
Yeah.
on Billy Grove, this looks familiar. It looks familiar. Same area, but not the same road. Everything just kind of looks similar. But we need more people riding bikes, and that's why I did what I did. That's just who I am.
That's why
I don't mind helping people.
we didn't see them after a while.
Yeah.
Cut through here and then went back.
So by taking this route, we're off of the main highway, even though it had a nice shoulder. This road parallels the highway, but it's more scenic.
That bypass you and I used to get to the Walsh Road, remember?
Yeah.
That's where it will come
So
out.
that's what you want to look for. That's the reason why I did that route video on how to plan your routes.
Yeah.
Play with roads. You know, the challenge is I found something I'm going to start looking at some of it where you can see the surface of the road. It's not always practical to view it because, you know, the routes that we follow are so long. So when we're on these rides, some of the county roads we pass, I literally look at them to make sure, are they paved, aren't they paved? And then I go and I spend a little more time investigating on the map, because you do have what they call the road view that Google offers. So I invest the time to find these roads, and that's what you have to do. You have to put a little bit of time in it. It's not that time consuming, but just each week I try to do something different. So we start at the park, but we never go the same way, and that's really great that we have this kind of variety that we were not using before. So whether you're doing it alone, you know, or with a group, it doesn't matter. Somebody mentioned on the side, it's great that you have Paul riding with you. Guys seem to get along so well. Yes, I'm very fortunate at this point. I used to do this solo. Paul used to do this solo. And so what I told him is, people come into your lives for different reasons. And you just have to be patient and keep doing what you're doing. Don't let it deter you because you haven't found somebody compatible. It's fun, but I always tell Paul the bicycle has one seat, because you don't need anybody to go ride your bike. You just get on your bike and go. You can do a solo adventure. Company is always more interesting, but there's nothing wrong with doing it alone. I have no problem just heading out. So just keep that in mind. Don't let that deter you. The right person will come along, and it will enhance what you're already doing.
Yeah.
But you got to be doing something. Do it on your own until somebody comes along. This is a climb here, and it gets there quickly.
Yeah.
where we're going in Huntsville has a lot of climbs. Some people have asked, as far as starting a group, how do you start a group? Well, you just, you want to speak to people when you're out there. It's like any kind of social thing. But don't worry so much about how big or small your group is. I like to start with the attitude of I'm a group of one. You're one rider, you're a group.
We've basically gone in a semicircle.
Yeah.
So you start with you, and if you meet somebody compatible means, do they like to do the kind of riding you want to do? See, we ride long. We ride three hours plus, 4.5 hours. There aren't too many people that want to do this kind of riding every weekend. And so for me, I don't want to hamper the kind of riding I like to do just to have 10 people in the group that want to do 40 miles. On the weekend, 40 miles is nothing. I want to do at least 85 kilometers or more. Okay, I'm talking 50 miles minimum. So it's hard to find people that think like that or want to do that or have the availability. So that's what somebody mentioned on the channel, groups have dramas. Yeah, any social group has dramas. So you got to be careful in what kind of culture your group is promoting. You don't need hassles in the group. So if there's not a lot of cohesion, you can have challenges. So that's why mostly Paul and I just head out. We want to ride 3 hours plus, 4 hours plus. We share, and that's what this guy said on the channel in his comment. We're very compatible. We have the same kind of thinking regarding riding. We train. It's an adventure. We visit places. We're not just riding around in circles. We're doing things. We're going to cities. I've never been to Huntsville in a car, and today I rode my bike to Huntsville for the first time. So that's what this is about. It's not just going out. We're training. We're visiting places and adventure. There aren't too many people that want to do that. A lot of guys come and they want to just hammer themselves into the ground. We don't do that all the time. So it's hard. So keep going. Look for people. Build a culture. Explain what your group is about. We like to ride. I don't stop people from doing what they want. But what they like to do, they can't do for 4 hours. They don't want to do that for 4 hours. They might do it for a few minutes. And that's the challenge. That's why this group is not 50 riders or 15 riders. Not too many people want to do that.
Where you going? Come on!
I'm messing with the dog right there.
Stop. No, stop.
Go back. This is 1791.
Those dogs, man, it's like they hear us before we get there. Something about the bicycle, they got to be picking up our chain or something. It's like they know you're coming. This is 1791. This is the main highway that will take us to near Huntsville. We're going to turn off.
Yeah, it is on.
At this point, I turn on my light. And then Paul's trying to turn on his light, but he's got a different style light on his bike today. I think it's because I'm using a Surface UTL 60, and I think he's got a Thunderbolt, and the button on the Thunderbolt is underneath it, and I think he's having trouble feeling where the button is. So I have him stop here, and I basically help him turn it on.
You weren't pushing it.
Because his hand wasn't pushing the button. It's not as easy to get to as this style light that I have. So we turn on his light. It's good to have the flashing light. This highway, the speeds are higher. I think it might be 65. But you might get one car every 5 minutes, if that. So having the light, you can be seen in the distance. See, that's the road up there. Look at the tree line. That's the road. That's the elevation we're going to gain. That's why we come out here. That's the road you're looking at up there. And we get excited when we see it. I mean, once you get there, you can't really tell. So from here all the way, it's a drag. I think probably it says -2 here, it will settle, and it becomes a drag. And so it's a false flat, then it's 1%, 2%, so you're gradually going higher. Like right now it says we're at 94 meters. We'll be over 100 meters by the time we finish our ride, or at points in our ride. So just coming out here and riding for the length of time and in this terrain, it strengthens you. So when we need to go hard, we can. But right now our goal is, it's almost like a bike adventure. We are going to Huntsville, Texas. However we get there, we don't want to kill ourselves. I'm telling him that this is one of the shortcuts we've used in the past. That road will take you towards Richards. We're going east, northeasterly. It says north, but it's more like a northeasterly direction. It will probably change a little bit. So even though this is a busy highway, it is lightly traveled, and what we've noticed is we just didn't have any issues on any of these roads, and you'll see more because we did enough clips on different roads.
I already got something in my mouth.
We're eating, and I was going to offer Paul some of my shot block there, and he said he had something in his mouth. It's early in the ride. Within the first hour, I try to eat something, and it's right around probably 45 minutes because I turned this thing, my head unit, on about 30 minutes into the ride. So it says 14 minutes right now. So about 45 minutes. You want to get something in your system for later in the morning. You can see the route. The road is still going up. We're higher up on the elevation, even though it says -0 at this section. When you're climbing, whether it's a mountain pass or small hill, it goes up and down. It changes. It's not always a steep pitch, but you're still gaining elevation. Right here, we're on the crux of the climb, where that car in the distance is about the apex. So for those of you who are worried about groups, keep riding. If there's a group in your area, ride with them if they meet your need. If they help you train for whatever event or grand fondo you're preparing for, or whatever long ride you want to do, a long adventure, train with them if they meet your need. If they're stressing you out and they have too much drama, ride by yourself or find somebody else to ride with. Start your own group. It's easy. Just make an appointment with other riders that want to do the same thing you do. That's the way you do it. You know, the kind of riding we like to do, it's just more convenient for Paul and I to just head out because it's just a hassle to try to. The groups in the area don't want to do what we're doing. They have different rides going on, so from time to time we'll join them as it fits our schedule, which is what I'm suggesting that you do, and that's the way you want to do it. You don't have to ride with them all the time. I love being out here because we can ride for several hours with no interruptions, so this is just so much more fun. You can see nothing's behind us. Get, a few cars now and then. I edited this for time, of course, and that's why it may seem like there were a lot of cars, but very few sections where we get past. But it's hassle-free because there's not a whole lot of cars out here, and so they use the other lane for the most part when they go by. This is a climb. You can see my cadence is slowing down. I didn't shift. I just kept the same gear because I realized it wasn't that long. As I've said before, yeah, we can go faster, but that's not the purpose of this ride. We're conditioning ourselves, so when we need to go faster, we will. There are times when we do go, and you will even see that here, when we pick up the pace a bit. I've got the shot block package in my hand. What I do is I eat them slowly so they don't stick to my teeth. Because if you put too many of them in your mouth and try to chew on them too quickly, they stick to the sides of your teeth. I don't like that. They're very effective, but that's the only side effect that bugs me. So I find that if I eat them slower, I don't have that issue as much. The camera is representing that light fairly well. That light is visible for at least a mile away. It's very bright, and that's on the lowest setting. Surfer said don't look directly at it. So when I'm turning it on, I don't look at it. Even when I'm checking the charge and all that. What I like about it, when it is off, that little white you see in the middle is almost like a reflectorized piece. The red is the reflector when it's off. So even when it's off, it looks like a tail light. So this road's going up and down. It plateaus and then it kicks back up. Right here it's kicking back up. And I tell Paul it's a climb. And if you watch my upper body, it just gets into the action. Like it's like a natural motion. Just a little bit of rocking sometimes enhances my pedal stroke. I don't think about it. That's just what my body does. So if that happens to you, that's good. Don't fight it. That's how the boys in the golden days like Mercs, they would be climbing and rocking their bodies like that. It helps you stay smooth. We're in the National Forest here. We're in the Sam Houston National Forest. Another section of it. The climb's over. You can see my cadence went up a bit. I put my trash up and proceed to ride. You can see the road's going down. I stay a little to the right so Paul can use the left. So we're using almost a half of this lane. It's windy. The wind's always out here. That's what you're hearing. It's a slight downhill. I think here I'm asking Paul to come take the lead.
Very steady.
Okay.
So your heart rate doesn't go up too much. Just find a rhythm.
I tell him to stay steady so his heart rate doesn't spike like it did last weekend.
Don't pull a UFC.
Yeah, we share a joke there.
Then your body was settled. The gimbal looks right, my brother.
We used to ride with a bunch of guys a little while back, and they would just come to the front for 10 yards and kill themselves and have nothing
what
left.
I do is I move it away.
That's what we're laughing at.
When you handed it to me, it was perfect.
We found a way to use the gimbal without touching the camera, and that seems to be working even better. I think it's been affecting the calibration of the gimbal when we touch the camera while the gimbal is on. So I went online, did additional research, because it was affecting the battery life of the gimbal and all of that. So it's just their documentation is sparse, and I think the gimbal is so new, that the Removal S1 is so new that they're learning more about their product, just like we're learning about it. And so when I went online, they had a manual that had more information than the manual I
The
have.
body of the gimbal is
So-
not the tail. You know what I mean?
I made a screenshot of it because they don't let you download it, which doesn't make sense. And so I will try to contact them and try to get a downloaded copy of the new manual because it is more thorough and it gave good tips that we implemented in this ride that seems to work. So you're supposed to turn on the camera first before you turn the gimbal on, so you don't have to touch the camera. When you touch the camera and the gimbal's on, the gimbal uses more power to counteract your touch. This is a nice descent, so I think at some point I let Paul know that we're going to pay the price because we're going to be coming back this way. And if we were descending this long, that means it'll be a nice climb. We ended up leaving a little earlier than we had originally planned, thankfully, because I had a task that I passed on to my wife, so we're able to get out since it's a Friday. I usually drop off my daughters to
Nice
school.
climb going the other way.
That's what I told her. I have a climb going the other way. So I was able to get my wife to drop off the girl so we could come out here early. So most of our riding when we visit places is between zone 2 to zone 4. And that's excellent training. I mean, you do zone 4 for even 30 minutes, that's excellent training. So we get way more than that. And that's why people think you don't have to kill yourself. Pick the right terrain, get out there and just ride. So we get a great workout. Paul looks very aero here in the drops. When your bike fits you, you can see he's flying down this hill. And there's not much of a descent. It says, well, -3, -2, yeah, I guess it's okay. They come up on you quickly and they're very deceiving because they're not drastic, and then once the road levels off, they'll start to go up and lose your speed quickly. The faster we go, we use more of the road. We could have been on the shoulder, but the road's quiet and we're going fast, so use the road is safer. There's more crap on the edge of the road. You can see the pavement looks a little chewed up there. Paul takes the camera here. I move to the front.
Yep.
This is a farm to market road, 1791. Very, the listed speed is like around 65, I'm guessing. This is one of the roads I found on the map on the right. It's called Burnett, I think, but it's gravel. That's what I'm telling you. So I move. You notice I move a little more to the right. The road's going up now. As we go slower, I tend to get near the white line because you're going slower. When I'm going fast, I use more of the road. I'm going downhill, 40 kilometers or faster, I'll use the road. But when you're going slower, there's less of a risk of obstacles causing you too many problems. This is a climb. I didn't shift down too much. I'm sure I'm in the big chain ring because it's not that drastic. It's 2%. But the thing is you got 2%, 3%, 4%, and they're repeated. That's what wears you down. It becomes a ride of attrition. That's what happens when you go and ride hill. It's the repetitive nature of that really taxes your body. Anybody can go flat out on one climb, but try to do that for 2 hours. See how many of those flat outs you can get out. Body just doesn't work like that. That's the thing. But if you do enough of these, when you do go flat out on a hill, it will be impressive. Remember that. So just ride your bike. Don't worry about it. Just get out. Just be consistent. You will improve. So Preston Road is coming up. That's the road we took a few weeks back where we ended up hooking up with a gravel road. I found another way to use Preston Road that hooks up with another part of the Pool Road, the same road that's gravel on the west side. Pool Road on the east, I don't think it's gravel, and it hits this highway we're going to use today. So that was another thing I discovered over the weekend, just looking on the map. So the next time we come out here, we're going to be using different roads again, because Pool Road is another one with Preston, coupled with Preston, that would get us further up the road. So in a little while, I let Paul know our turn is here. It comes up quickly. He's like, wow.
This one right here? Yeah. Wow. Came out quick.
FM 3179 will take us to Highway 30.
This is what, 3179? Wow.
I'm double checking on the map. And it is. So this one is 70 miles an hour posted. And look at people's houses right there. I mean, and it doesn't really matter because we were passed maybe by one car for the 30 or 40 minutes we're on this road.
We are going that way. We'll take off further on 30 near 45.
So you got people's homes right there, and the road is 70 miles an hour. Look at that road in the distance. I told Paul, I said, look at this bad boy. He laughed.
This is what I'm talking about, man. Open road.
So even though it's posted 70, with the light volume of traffic, it's a non-factor. Because what we found is that the few cars that would pass us, not only did they use the other lane, but they slowed down. It's almost, I don't know if they were sightseeing or whatever, but there weren't that many. So there's nothing out here. It's great. I'll take this over the cars in my neighborhood that are coming by every second. This is just so beautiful. It was like we had the road closed. You even come across some of the locals on their farm equipment. They're very friendly, waving at us. I mean, it's really cool. The road here, if you look at the surface, those little ridges, it's a little rough, but not too bad, really. I'm talking to the dog. He never came on the road. He kept back barking at us.
Little dog.
So this road is a keeper because there's a climb coming up. I'm sure you guys will enjoy watching it. It's one of the longest climbs we've been on. It was a 2-minute climb. I can't remember the last time we climbed for 2 minutes at one spurt. I was like, man, this is nice.
Yeah.
So the entire thing is either a slight, what you call a false flat, or 1 to 3%, and just repeat it. Like right here, we're climbing. I just got out of the saddle, stretched my back a little bit.
Yeah.
The shorts I'm wearing, one of the few Castelli shorts that I have that I like. You can see how long the legs are, because it's been hit or miss with me and Castelli. So I'm still trying to understand their products. The one I'm wearing, I think it's an endurance short, they call it. And I like the leg length. Of course, their pads are excellent.
Yeah.
Those guys are sitting under the tree there, the cows. That's the guy that waves at us. He's driving his farm equipment, the harvester or plow or whatever it is. And so you see, he's moving slower than a bicycle, but he's got to use the road. So out here, it's a whole different attitude. Even this guy in the pickup truck, I was telling Paul, I said, it's posted 70, but we didn't notice anybody zooming by. So this is a good road. I really liked the experience. And it was a Friday, so that means even the weekend is even quieter. As you can see, we haven't been passed by a car in our direction yet on this road since we turned.
Yeah.
So this part of town, you're either going up or down. There aren't a whole lot of flat areas.
Picture.
So when we do find them, we take advantage of them. Right here, it's going back up a little bit. So you always got these slight grades, but what it does is, since you're always working against resistance, the gears you normally ride in town, you get stronger because you're using the same gears of a 1% grade or a 2% grade. Your legs are working harder. and over time you just build more strength.
Yeah. Yep.
It want nothing to do with this road.
What do you told the guy? We're going to Huntsville. He was like, man. He was trying to calculate in his mind. How are these boys going from Huntsville from here?
He's talking about the guy at the park. The guy knew the area. He called the right highways, and that's why I took the time to explain our route to him, because he knows the area. He drives
That
out
little
here.
shop over there.
These are his roads, but he's not comfortable using them because he's afraid of cars. That's normal for every new rider. Nobody likes the noise from those cars as they go by. And as I said earlier, some of those jerks rev their engines or downshift, even though it's not necessary to pass a bicycle. Paul and I talk about it all the time. And you'll probably see some of this. I'll point it out on the route. They go by. You passing a bicycle doing what? 20 kilometers an hour if it's on a climb? Or 30 kilometers? That's 20 miles an hour. You don't need to rev your engine. You just drive at whatever speed you're driving by. And you know, most people do that. They always get the one or two, and they startle new riders. That's what scares riders from getting out here. You know. Right here, I told Paul to take a picture of that watering hole for this guy's pasture. And look at those guys hanging out. All the cows are under the tree. They're staying out of the sun.
That's what I'm filming.
And I start messing with them, but we're too far away. They just ignored us. And this road continues to undulate. Right now it says -0. It's relatively flat here. There we go, 1%. So we're still climbing. We're headed north. And this whole direction, you're gaining elevation. You can see we're at 115 meters above sea level. The town we're going to called Huntsville is noted for its climbs as well. So we end up tasting a little bit in the outskirts of the city, but it's congested enough. We didn't go into the main downtown. But the biggest thing here is as we ride, you can see this whole time, I don't think we've been passed by a car yet. So I definitely logged this road in my memory bank. That's the thing with the routes. You try different courses, and then you pretty much decide which ones you're going to keep, which ones you use sparingly. In fact, when I made this route, I put us on Highway 30 for a short period of time, but we got a nice surprise. I thought it was as crappy as it had been on the piece that we used when we went to Shiro a few weeks back. But this section of it is so well made, and you'll see. So you have to do that. You have to get to know which parts of the roads are conducive, and then you stay on those lines. So always be willing to tweak your route. You can see once again I'm doing my white socks with the white shoes. And you see how they look. They look like boots. I decided to put my patch kit on this ride in this jersey in the middle pocket, and I ended up liking it there better because it settles on your spine and it just seems to be a lot more stable than in the side pocket. I carried the gimbal in the top of my jersey, behind my neck, against my spine. Right here we're going downhill, then it curves, and I think this is where we hit that long climb. It's like a 2-minute climb. After the curve, the climb begins, but you pretty much can see it. Just end up being a beautiful piece of road. I mean, look at this scenery. No cars. It's as if to say the roads were closed for us. And this is Friday morning. So this road is a keeper. 3179 north. You can see the climb up there. It's deceiving. It's a lot steeper than it looks. I'm on the big chain ring here, and I think somewhere here I downshift. My cadence will change when I do. But what I do is I downshift. I shift in the back and then drop the chain.
Yep.
Right there. On a small chain ring.
Yep.
And then I shift down in the back. So my cadence stayed about the same, right around 90 thereabouts.
Yep.
I have a video that I made how to shift properly on the bicycle so you're not spinning around like a hamster. It's in the iCards. You can just search for it. Shifting on the bicycle. It's pretty descriptive. We're climbing here. It says 2%. It's a little more than that. This thing only shows integers, and it jumps around. It says 3. And you can see it's going up and to the left. So if you had not shifted properly at this point, you would be bogged down because it continues. We're still climbing. Now it says 5%. This is jumping 5. It was all over 6. I think it was 7 point something at some points. This is the part of the road I really enjoyed. I like the fact that this was long, and it wasn't too jumpy. It was steady. So we will be visiting this road again. I found a different way to get there using Pool Road. The same road that was gravelly, but a section that's not gravelly. So we can stay off of 1791. It's almost at the top. It still says 2%. The first car has passed us. We've probably been on the road for almost 20 minutes. Crest the climb.
Telling you.
We're descending, but not for long. See where it turns right down there? That's another climb.
That was a heck of a time.
Paul said it was a heck of a climb. It was long. It was about 2 minutes. I actually timed it. So if you got one of those in your ear and you want to improve your climbing, you can do repeats on them if you want. To avoid repeats, we just ride this area that has climbs back to back. We're starting another climb here. So 3 to 4 hours in the hills, we'll get our chance to do repeats in a more interesting way while visiting new areas. This was my first trip to Huntsville, Texas. Never been there before. Huntsville is between Dallas and Houston. It's probably about maybe 3 hours from Dallas, I'm guessing. And about a little over an hour from Houston, something like that. I have a lot of other towns in the area, like College Station. The highway we're going to, if we went west and stayed on it long enough, we'd get to College Station. They have the University of Texas A&M University is there. After that little climb, we get a reprieve. That's the nice thing about climbs versus the wind. You get a break. So when I get those breaks, put in the big chain ring, let my legs spin out the lactic acid from climbing. So your legs can recover. We're approaching Highway 30 here, and we get a very nice surprise. I expected it to be 2 lanes, rough, crappy shoulder that we couldn't use like when we went to Shiro, because the same highway is just further east. So I did not plan the route to stay on it too long. We hit another farm to market road, I think 2550. telling him she rose to the left. So when we hit the corner, we go right,
Yep.
which is east.
That's 30.
It's clear. You see the sign, Highway 30. And when I turn, look at the shoulder. That's what I'm telling you. It's beautiful, it's smooth. They got those ridges to alert traffic when they're leaving the road. But to the right of it, we got a nice shoulder. And as we go, it gets wider.
Yeah.
It's about the size of a lane. Look at it. Smooth as a baby's behind. Beautiful pavement. And we're about 12 miles or probably 16 kilometers. Right there, Huntsville is 12 miles east. That's where we're headed. We're not going to go directly on 30 because I hadn't planned it. I mean, it's boring. Even though it's a nice road, we didn't want to spend 12 miles on it. So we're going to take the more scenic route. We're going to go north and then go east.
I didn't know 30 was this nice out here. Shoot. Sweet, look at the size of his shoulder.
Yeah.
Kidding me? Really?
This is a reward, man.
I thought it was gonna be that crappy part of 30 like the one we dealt with. It was Sheila.
Yeah.
This is nice, man.
Very.
Look at that climb up there.
Even the as busy as major as this 30 is, Texas is a Texas highway, Texas State Highway.
But if you're on the
There are a lot of
still,
climbs.
You know, on the road, you know, I mean, it just.
Yeah.
So the shoulder's nice and wide. We're riding side by side, two abreast. Just, you know, shooting the breeze. I mean, look at this highway. There are 2 lanes on the other side heading west. They do that sometimes, like Huntsville is that way. So they put 2 lanes on that side. When this highway gets closer to Huntsville, it has 2 lanes going east as well. And so they make the shoulder smaller. You'll see it in a little bit.
Yeah.
There's 2 lanes on that side.
It's a major highway, but you can see it is still not very, very congested. I mean, the towns here are far apart. It's not as crowded as in town.
Smooth.
Look at this road. So I'm looking at the map over there to see. This is the
That
first
tells
time.
you what roads are coming up. Linda Lane ahead. Linda, I don't know who Linda is. She must be famous. Linda's our
Here's,
own lane, Jay.
here's Linda right here, man.
Yeah. Linda's our own lane.
Linda Lane.
Letting us know the name of the road, huh?
That's what we're talking about, boys.
Linda Lane. That's Linda Lane. And it's gravel, but it's marked. I mean, come on, really?
Linda's not paved. I knew it. Look at it.
And those
That's
roads
it right
connect. If they were paved, we could use them. They connect. They connect to the other highway we're headed
I'm
to.
messing around with county roads today. We're
So
driving.
I stayed up. That's a county road.
4-digit road. That was a 31 something. It was a 4-digit road. All the 4-digit roads are paved. They're like 25, 62 and stuff, you know.
Yeah, so I stayed on the farm to market roads. That's what I'm talking about there.
Yeah, Huntsville must be close because they invested in 2 lanes out here. 12 miles is a good distance.
So there are 2 lanes headed
It says
west.
pasture.
We're headed east.
Pasture.
And in a little while, it would narrow on our side.
Pastures everywhere.
And there will be 2 lanes headed east as well.
This is your reward for climbing back there.
Oh, yeah.
Look at it.
It's a beautiful road. I was just impressed. So nice to know that 30 on this side is nice and well paved. So next time we can jump on it, and but still the county roads, the farm to market roads are more interesting. And whatever county roads are paved, we'll use them. And I think there's another one I'm going to use in the future. but you pretty much have to invest the time in checking them out to make sure. Because it's more interesting. I mean, who wants to ride 12 miles on this road? Even though it goes up and down, you can see in the distance between the light poles there, that's the highway up there that looks almost like trees. It really rises, but it's just a long way to be on the road like this. I'd much rather go on some of those scenic roads and harass the cows in the pasture and stuff. But this is not bad, so we're gonna use it more and more as we come out here. This is nice. So in a little while, it starts to narrow. You see the sign here, that road work. It's getting narrower, so we go single file. It's narrow because they're using the part of the road that was a shoulder earlier. Now they have 2 lanes of traffic going east as you get closer to Huntsville. So I stay on the shoulder for now. It's smooth, it's wide enough. Because we're going to be turning left to go north. We're not riding this into Huntsville. This road that we're on goes into downtown Huntsville. It becomes like a downtown street, and they call it 11th Street. Once it gets in Huntsville, after probably 10 miles, I guess. So it narrowed because they're using 2 lanes here. We could use the road, but I just decided to stay here until we need to turn. So you can see right here the little ridges, they have ends. And I let Paul know that we're going to be turning. Let's use the road. So I don't want to cut across those ridges at the last minute. So I'm closer to the white line. Paul is on my left. We're using about half of this lane. And right above this hill here, our turn comes up. There's a slight grade. It's not much. But you go into the wind's blowing from the northeast this morning. That's a hill right there. That's Highway 30. Look at that. That's the highway up there near the trees. So we're going to check it out in the future. We're going to ride that climb because that looks like a good climb. That's in the distance. That's the road going up. That's the elevation you have to crest to get to Huntsville. This is 2550, the FM 2550.
No. 2550.
Well, I was telling Paul is people's houses are right there and they've set the speed limit at 70 miles an hour. But you know, that's not, we counted what, maybe 2 or 3 cars, if that. It's not heavily traveled, but it makes sense. These are rural roads that want to keep traffic moving, but still. In the cities, when there are houses close by, I think the top they do is 35 in that area. I guess out here would be practical. You can see that guy came by. He wasn't going that fast. What we found out here is most of the people out here are farmers. They're not in a hurry. So it was very safe. I felt safer out here than I do riding in my neighborhood. It's like, you know, less to deal with. Even the dogs behave differently out here.
Yeah.
The guy's sitting under the tree. The cows are sitting under the tree, staying out of the sun. I like to talk to them. You see how much room that guy gave us. So out here we just really enjoyed the openness, and Paul says, and you'll probably hear him, he calls it the open road. And we're just strategizing. I'm explaining to him how, you know, what we can do with this route and how we can make tweaks to it. I'm telling him how we're going back. telling him I'm glad we came early because we were originally going to start the ride around 9 because I needed to drop off my daughters, but my wife handled that, so we were able to get out
What
early.
is this, Mountain Zion? Yeah.
The sign on the road, Mount Zion Cemetery on the right. A lot of these cemetery roads, the roads are only paved up to the cemetery, and then if the road continues, it's gravel. Okay, so out here they only spend the money on roads that are being heavily used. You can see this farm road because it's a farm to market road. The state paves it, but there's not a whole lot going on it. Which we welcome. That's why we come out here. And I'm sure you can find roads in your area that are like this. Don't worry about the speed limit. Focus more on the volume of traffic and where it goes.
Look at those little boozers right there.
There are a couple of dogs right there. There are 2 dogs out there. Paul spots them and call them boozers.
Little dog.
And they're heading towards us. The little guy comes to the side of the road. And I tell him to stop because I don't like them coming on the road because they can get hit by cars. But he stopped on the edge, so that was cool. Because, you know, the speed limit is 70, and even though his house is right there, that was one of the reasons in the cities they don't set the speed limit so high. So you don't want your pets, if you live out in a rural area, coming out. Most of these people, a lot of these people have fences and stuff. But that house didn't, and these dogs can get injured. But he was smart. He just stopped on the edge, so he's probably well aware. This whole time we're going is a grade. It may say 0, but it might be 0.7, 0.8. It's a grade. Now look at these guys sitting under the tree. And I asked them, that's all they're going to do in their day?
That's it? That's all you guys are going to do all day?
They find a cook.
They're just laying around. I like to mess with the animals. They're just chilling. They're smart, staying out of the sun. So this highway connects with another highway up there. I think it's 16, another farm to market road. I had completely forgotten that it was going to hit another farm to market road before connecting to Highway 75. I mean, what you're seeing is what we experienced. I edited this for time, but the story is retained. I think one car has passed us, maybe a couple of cars early when we got on this highway. That's it. I mean, there's not a whole lot going on, so we're gonna enjoy these roads. It's our first time using them. This is a climb here. This is approaching the other farm to market road that would take us east. This is going north, and we're gonna go east. I think this is where the stop sign. They put red lights around the stop sign. It was kind of weird to see, well, unusual to see. Yeah, there's a stop sign up there. I think I froze the picture. They basically took lights and put it around the stop sign right there. Look at it. Red lights around the stop sign. You know, I mean, how do you miss a stop sign? Man. So, but I know there's a good reason why they did that. On these sleepy highways, somebody wasn't paying attention at one point and probably went straight.
Yeah.
Chapel Hill? Nothing. I looked at it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So Paul comes to the front to take the lead. And basically he leads us all the way on this highway until we get to Highway 75. We're going east towards Huntsville. We're a little more north of Huntsville because of the Highway 2550 that we came on. Took us north of Huntsville. This will take us east, and then we'll go south once we get to 75. Of all the highways we're on, 75 was my least favorite. I mean, it was all right, but I like this road. I think this is 1680 something. I have to look it up. It's 1696, FM 1696. It goes east and west. We're using the eastern part of it that will take us to Highway 75. In the future, we'll explore the western side. So we have so many options, and it's just, it's great. This area has been a great find. More pastures out here, you can see that. This particular highway did not have a whole lot of grades per se. It was mostly flat, slight rolling areas, but nothing too drastic.
I forgot all about this road, man.
Paul pulled for a long time. I edited this for time, keeping the story the same. Hear the wind. So our speeds varied from like 28 to 35 kilometers an hour, depending on what the wind was doing. The surface of the road was not super smooth, but it was not too bad. We found different ways to hold the gimbal. Remember, we talked about it early in the ride, and you can see how quiet the body of the gimbal was not rattling much. And even later on in the ride, you'll see I'll talk about it. I found yet another way to hold the gimbal that kept the body off of our brake levers. And so we're continuing to improve how we handle the gimbal to keep the quality of the film on the up. This is where we get to Highway 75. $16.96 was what we just came off of. This is Highway 75. There was nothing that special about this highway. It had a few climbs, but nothing special. They have not invested in it. You can see the surface of the road is a bit chewed up. I'm staying on Paul's left. Now that we're going south, the wind is swirling around enough to where that was the sheltered area. It says east up there, but you see to the right on that circle with the cyclists in there on the data, east, southeast. So yeah, we're going east a little bit, but really we're going southeast. The direction of the road changes. There are more pastures out here. This Highway 75 runs a long way into town. I go ahead and take the lead. Paul takes the camera. We ended up stopping on this highway. We did not film it because the camera pretty much ran out of power. So I put the second battery in there. Shortly after I got to the front here, Paul told me a camera had. It beeps to let you know when you're out of power. Sometimes you don't hear it when you're low, when it's low, and then you don't hear it, and it just gives a final beep and shuts off. Using this piece between where you see the stripe in the middle. It's not really a stripe. The areas where the cars don't ride. Paul is to the right of that, and I'm to the left of the white line. We're using that little quadrant of the lane. If I were riding solo, I would be more over to the left where their tires go to encourage them to not pass me completely in my lane, to make them move over. But since the two of us are accomplishing that, I sit over there so he can get a draft because the wind's blowing from the right and in our face. A little industrial area here mixed with homes. Obviously there's no zoning going on in this area. Small businesses. See the hill in the distance there. The road goes up. This highway will take us to Interstate 45, which is the main highway between Dallas, Huntsville, Houston, Galveston.
Yeah.
If you're going to Dallas, you would be going left, which is north. Houston is right to the south. I decided to just stand and keep the same gear. It's a relatively, it's not like that short. And this is what I was talking about earlier. This guy comes by, gun his engine. He didn't need to do that. We ain't going that fast. 22 kilometers an hour, 16 miles an hour, if that. He could have just rolled by, but they all do that. But I guess he was trying to just get past us quickly. That's what scares new riders. Is that noise from their engine. That's why the guy who met in the park, even though he lives, this is his area, he doesn't use his own roads. You have to get comfortable doing that. It's not easy for new riders. You start in your neighborhood and then you branch out gradually. That's the way to do it. After cresting that, I just sat back down, but you can see there's yet another hill coming in the distance. So right here, we've changed the battery. We're closer now to Highway 45. Because after we stopped
Approaching the main area of Huntsville here. I think that's 45 up there.
Yeah, it looks like.
So Interstate 45, if you were going to Dallas, you would go left, and it's probably about 2:45 to 3 hours by car. 2 hours 45 to 3 hours by car. From here, I'm estimating. Houston is a little over an hour by car, maybe longer. It depends. I think Huntsville is further. So Houston might be an hour and a half by car. Dallas might be 2.5 by car. We're kind of, we're away from the city because we don't live in the city anyway. We're about 45 minutes from the city anyway. So this is the frontage. This is 75. It's not really the frontage road. And these are little refueling stops on the right that suggest to Paul that we stop and fill up, because I don't want to go in the city and have to deal with anything. We end up finding a place that is just nice, very spacious. It's a shell, and they really built it well. So we got ice and everything. Good to identify good stopping points. Usually gas stations are cool. You can get in there, get an ice. If you don't need to buy anything, just get ice and get out. You don't have to buy anything. If you need electrolytes, they have them. That's the place to go. We stopped at this shell.
Yeah. No way. Wow.
I would say 2 hours because we didn't start it until,
Yeah.
remember? So
Yeah.
2 hours. Now look at yours. You started yours from the time.
It took us about 2 hours and 15 minutes to get to Huntsville.
You see how it lines up easier when it's up? It just lines up. No, nothing touches it. Let's do it, my brother.
We're still figuring out new ways to maneuver the gimbal to remove less. Continuous improvement. The gimbal makes filming easier, but we don't have to think about the shot. We just ride. It frames for us.
There we go.
Without the gimbal, it would require too much attention on our part. It would take away from riding. So with the gimbal, you just set it and
another way to
forget
hold it. Come on up here and take a look. I don't want to move it.
I found a new position and I wanted to show Paul.
Look, the side. And look how straight the gimbal is.
Yeah.
This is sideways. That is so much better.
Yeah.
So I found a new
This is where
position.
the
So yet
noise
another
comes from.
position to add to
Not
our
the stick
arsenal.
is on the thing. That's the way we need to do it. You see it? It's turned sideways. Instead of this, it's like this. I just happened to hold it like that. I was like, man, this is a keeper. Look
So
at
even
that.
getting out of the parking lot is a grade right here. I felt
keep
it. I was in a
discovering,
heavy gear.
man.
Yeah.
Even the driveway. Yeah.
I was like, I didn't want to do too much. So we're supposed to go left, but
I don't know if it wants us to turn or not.
yeah, I couldn't really tell. The thing wasn't doing turn by turn directions at this point because I had it on the map.
I think it was turning. Wait, there's a
So-
car behind you.
So there was a car there. We turned
Yeah,
right
we're gonna go
here.
left, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see the
Let's
highway
do
45. This is the frontage
is
road
30?
we're on.
Yeah, I know. Let's go this way. Come in.
So the frontage road is a piece, and then off of 75, that's the frontage
Follow
road
me.
for the highway. We do a loop here and
behind
just
this
get behind this truck. The city is on the east side of the highway. That's the highway here. We're gonna go under the highway. The highway's overpass.
Well, welcome to Huntsville, my brother.
So this is Highway 45,
Come
Interstate
on.
45. You went left, it would be north. That would take you to Dallas. If you went right, it would be south, which is the south side we just left. That would take you into town to Houston, hour and a half that way. Dallas probably 2.5, 2:45 that way by car. So right here you can see where it says Dallas, Huntsville. And so we're going right to Huntsville. Dallas will be left. There's an airport over there where you see that fence. That's an airport. With that yellow sign at dead end, that's the airstrip there. That's the regional airport in the Huntsville area. So we're heading down. This is actually Highway 75 continuing here in the city of Huntsville. And this will take
This is a
us
heavily
to
cycled route.
Highway 30, the 75 south.
One of the purple routes.
Even though it went under the highway, it's the same highway we're on.
I didn't want to come in and just go on the feeder and go back. I want to come in town.
But that's where we get to taste a little bit of the city and then continue our journey. It was about 10:30 in the morning, and we left probably around 8 something. 2.5 hours. This lady's pulling out. I'm looking at her. I always look at cars like that when they're coming. She's not looking my way, so I let Paul know.
Watch this chick. Watch up. You didn't even look. Look that way. That's where the cars are coming from.
So until she got to the corner and stopped, she was not looking in the direction we were coming from. Both she and the passenger were looking south.
That's what I'm talking about. That's proof.
So we always do that. I let Paul know so that we will be prepared to stop. And she not stopped. That's the key. Because I could see into her car, she wasn't looking our way at all. Which doesn't make sense. Traffic's coming from this direction. That's where you need to look. So they might have been chatting about something. So I give Paul the camera, get to the front. We're in town. We're still on Highway 75, which basically probably has a different, no, I think it's called 75 in town. This will take us to 11th Street. 11th Street is the same as Highway 30 that we were on earlier. Because remember, we went north on 2550. So now we're coming back south on 75 to get back to Highway 30. And we'll take 30 to go west out of town. And there's some nice climbs in the city here. You can see where I'm positioned. So my position is intended to make sure no one tries to use this lane. That's where I ride. In the city, I ride even more assertively, I would say. I place myself right there. There's no reason to be by the white line, but this is where I ride. The busier the road, the more direct my position needs to be to make sure other road users know that I'm using this lane. This is where, when I learned how to ride a motorcycle, that's what we're told to ride. Because it gives you more room if somebody messes up on a 2-lane road. At least you're over on the right. You have some room. That's where motorcyclists are told to ride, unless they're riding two abreast or making a left turn. So it's the smoothest part of the road anyway, as you can see.
That's what I'm talking about. Open the road.
Paul's a little to my left, but that's where I ride. The road's not very busy, but we're in it's city. Huntsville's a good-sized town. They have the Sam Houston State University here. They have the state prison here, the State Prison Museum. They got a lot of stuff going on here, so there's a lot of people. That's why we did not go into the heart of town. So it was nice to come and visit a place. I've never been there before, so. The patching here is a bit bumpy, so let Paul know. This is a descent and then there's a light. This is 10th Street that we're coming to. And the street after that is our right turn to take us out of town. The main crux of the town is to our left. We stop, I move over to the left side of the lane. Paul's in the right side of the lane. We take up the entire lane. There are cars behind us.
That's actually Highway 30.
This light was not very long.
They call it 11th Street in the city.
I'm telling him that 30 is the next street to call 11th Street in town.
This is what I call adventure.
The light changes. I give that guy some room. I don't like to be right up on cars. You know, you give yourself enough room. This entire town is up and down. Nothing but hills in here. Huntsville is noted for hills. They have a state park here. We didn't get a chance to visit this time around. But there's a lot of good roads in the state park to ride.
That was great.
Life's been green for a while. This person's sitting.
Alex.
I figured maybe they'll understand
Green, what are
French.
they waiting for?
If English wasn't good, I tried French. I was gonna say "Vámonos." I think that's Spanish for "let's go." So this is Highway 30, but it's called 11th Street in the city. This takes us out of town. And we got some nice climbs coming up. Starting with this one. I tell Paul, welcome to Huntsville. This is the street. You see where I am. I'm using most of the lane. Paul's on the right, I'm on the left. I'm glad he filmed this. If you watch my feet, I'm pulling up more than pushing down. I concentrate on pulling up to make sure that each leg is doing its share of the work. I downshift some more. I'm in a 39.23, it looks like.
Look at that bad boy.
I'm telling Paul to look at the hill. Look up there. That's the elevation that we're headed to. And we're in the city. There's a red light in the next intersection. I think I let him know to make sure he's in a small chain ring because, you know, he's got the camera. So I let him say, make sure you're in your small chain ring because this is a hill and you're taking off from the light. You need to be ready so you're not bogged down and dragging. You need to make sure you're in the appropriate gear, not just on a hill. Anytime you stop at a light, I did a video on how to shift if you forget to shift before you stop. I did a video that helps you know how to shift after you've stopped. It's in the archive. The light changes. Watch how quickly I get through the intersection, even though it's a climb, because I'm in the right gear. It's simple physics. So my cadence is reasonable. I'm in the 80s. This thing says 1% is more than 9. I jumped to 2. It's more than that. It was 4+ by the time we crested this thing. I felt the hill. I was like, man. So we just basically did a loop. We went under the freeway, did a loop in town. Now we headed back towards the freeway. We're gonna go across the freeway. This one's an overpass, not an underpass. So we're gonna go over the freeway here once we're done climbing. This is Highway 30. I stayed in the same gear. My cadence went down a little bit, but we're almost done. This is Interstate 45, and Dallas is to the right, and Houston is to the left. I sped it up here for time. Even though sometimes it does look like that's how people drive. Once again, I'm in the right gear. I'm in like a 39.19 or something like that. You can see I'm up the cluster, not all the way. That's the way you want to ride. There's no reason for you to strain yourself. That's why you have gears. It's physics. It's not anymore. It doesn't make you tougher to labor in a gear. It's one thing if you were riding a fixie, but you've got the gears, use them. leaving town. This is Highway 30, getting outside. This is on the outskirts of town. And I'm glad we didn't go in town. We didn't have time to deal with all those lights. The town is just like any other downtown. It's a grid with just intersections galore. So we like the roads that we discovered on this route to the point we'll use them more, but I found other roads that won't even carry us under the freeway. Next time we come around, we'll just be in the area in Walker County. I think Huntsville is in Walker County. The county lines here are kind of blurred, so sometimes it's easy to get them mixed up. I think I sped it up here again. We stop at a light here. I speed it up for a little while, then I slow it down, because then, yeah, that guy turned. And then after I slow it down, we move up right here. Move up to the light. There are cars behind us. I'm placed over there to make it clear we're going straight. I don't like cyclists that sit by the curb, because then it's like you're taking yourself out of traffic, and the drivers don't know what you're gonna do. I'm adjusting that heart rate belt. Light changes, and I'm off. You should practice that. If you're having trouble clipping it, practice that. It should become automatic. Just checking for traffic. I told Paul that there is a police officer right there, has somebody pulled over. As you come into town on these highways, the speed limit changes. And if you're not paying attention, they'll get you. And he's got somebody, he's writing a ticket. And those things are expensive. I just hate getting tickets. I don't get them anymore. I mean, it's been years. I don't get them. I figure there's no point to it.
Yeah.
If you don't like the law, get it changed. But there's no point in
That's good.
breaking it and then having to deal with those courts. It's just a hassle. So after we leave Huntsville, we get back to 1791 here. And Paul's leading us.
Left Huntsville. We're on 1791. Headed back. We're in Montgomery County. Wrapping up this ride. The side leg holding I showed you.
You can hear the wind. I mean, it was just later in the morning. It's blowing. It's almost noon. It was hot and windy. And I used up about 2,000 milliliters of water on this ride. That's 4 bottles. Which is not bad. Usually it's 6 or more. It was a warm morning. See, 32C, that's about 90 degrees Fahrenheit. So I come to the front, kind of roll us in. We're back in Montgomery County. We rode 1791 back out of Huntsville. There were sections that we didn't get clips on with just some awesome climbs. So at this point in the ride, we have had our fill of climbing. And every little hill or even a 1%er, I was beginning to feel it, especially with this wind. You can see the hill in the distance there. The road continues to go up as we approach basically. And then these trucks, when they go by, the wind was buffeting us. Hear the wind whistling. So we're at the top of zone 3 doing 25 kilometers an hour because of the grade, the surface of the road, and the conditions and the wind. I stand over here. At this point, it just felt better to stand. Because we've got a new way to hold the gimbal, if you listen closely, you have to really listen. You can hear brr, brr, a little bit. It is not rattling like it used to because it's no longer bouncing on Paul's handlebar. I can tell, but the surface of the road has little imperfections. They're small enough, so it makes it rough. So it's not one of these roads where it's smooth and buttery. You know, you got to work. You got to work to keep your momentum. And this is a long climb. I stood the whole way. It just felt good. That's why my cadence was low. I was in a good sized gear and just standing and using my upper body. Right there at the crest of the climb, I sat down. You can just kind of feel it. You can feel when the climb's over, and that's when I sit. And the reason I did that, we've been climbing for hours, and I wanted to relieve my muscles and get them to work in a different way. That's the benefit of standing. You use more energy, but it's a relief. You can see my heart rate spiked into zone 4 so I'm standing. But it's 33 degrees Celsius, so that's related to that too. That's the thing with heart rate. Temperature affects that. I didn't really feel like that effort was bottom of zone 4, but my heart rate got down. So your heart adjusts based on what's going on with the environment to make sure that your body is kept at optimal operating condition. That's what that is. It gets hot, heart rate goes up, pump more blood. It's your cooling system. You can see yet another climb in the distance. Listen to that wind. So that's why you don't want to focus on speed so much. What matters is how hard you're working, and really for how long you're working at whatever effort you're working. That's how you know if you're improving. So we go out and ride 4 hours, 4.5 hours, zone 2 to zone 4. When it's time to go zone 5 for an hour, we're ready.
Yeah.
That's just the way it works. Psychologically and physically, your body can handle it. You just have to get the right adaptations for those different zones. So on these rides, we hit all kinds of zones. We come to the climb, we hit zone 4. This road brings us back at the top of this climb. It hits 149, which is the home stretch to Montgomery Park, but it's probably about 20 minutes away from the park. And that's kind of where we end up wrapping up the film. It says 3% again. I think I told Paul, I'm like, that's all we need. One more hill before we get to 149, because 149 has its own hills. I was letting him know the other side is Bethel Road. So 1791 butts up against Bethel Road. Paul was not aware of that. We discussed that. So you learn these little things by just studying the map. So we come to the intersection, it's clear. And I end up telling him we need to take a clip for Sean. Sean's the guy at the store in Tomball. who we're talking about. Yeah. Because we're telling him that you come to the intersection, nothing's there. So you don't need to stop. There's no reprieve out here on the open road. You can't cheat. There's no stop sign to catch your breath. So I hope you all got a chance to get your K's in the weekend. If not, get on your trainer. Keep your body moving. Keep those doctors unemployed.
God said. That's what I'm talking about, man. Oh, open road.
Open road, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Feet are hot, but gotta keep riding.
Yep.
Yeah, the temperature of my feet just went up. I hope I didn't cover the bottom of the shoe. Because I covered the